Calcium is the first macronutrient which is highest required in my body. Almost प्रत्येक adultला 1 ग्रॅम कॅल्शियम हा लागतो.
So, what do you suggest for vitamin D and calcium?
कॅल्शियम ॲब्झॉर्प्शनला व्हिटॅमिन डी गरजेचं आहे.
What is the calcium requirement for various age groups?
Adults, let's start with adults. Adults need 1 gram per day in a daily requirement of calcium. Technically 30 ml per kg present body weight. So you may be 100 kg, so it is 100 into 30. So remember, 1 cup of coffee, 2 glass of water.
We are having a lot of viral infection in today's world, and post-viral developing myalgia, I mean muscle pains, bone pains, joint pains. I think it has become very common. So, what do you suggest about this?
So 800 grams of vegetables per day is not my recommendation. It is an RDA, recommended dietary allowance. 2 वाटी dahi रोज, 300 ml of milk is suggested as per our recommended dietary allowances in our ICMR guideline.
नमस्कार, मी डॉक्टर राहुल चौधरी. पुन्हा एकदा आपलं माझ्या पॉडकास्ट मज्जारज्जू आणि बरंच काय इथे आपलं स्वागत आहे. आज आपण नवीन टॉपिक घेऊन इथे आलो आहे आणि विच इज अ व्हेरी कॉमन टॉपिक की प्रत्येक पेशंट मला ॲक्च्युली विचारतोच की सर जेवणामध्ये काही पथ्य पाळले पाहिजेत का, किंवा जेवणात काही आम्ही ॲडिशनल काही गोष्टी घेऊ शकतो का ज्याच्याने आमचं स्पाईन्स स्ट्रॉंग होतील किंवा डिस्क न्यूट्रिशन इम्प्रूव्ह होईल. So our today's topic is diet for bones and spines and nerves. So we have a special guest in our studio, Dr. Geeta Dharmatti. She's a PhD nutritionist, and she has a thorough knowledge in this, dietary advice for our patients. I welcome madam, and over to you.
नमस्कार. Thank you very much. खूप खूप धन्यवाद. हॅपी टू बी हिअर इन दिस पॉडकास्ट. आणि फार महत्त्वाचा विषय पर्टेनिंग टू डॉक्टर चौधरीज ओव्हरऑल ॲस्पेक्ट ऑफ हिज एरिया ऑफ एक्सपर्टीज. आणि डाएट आणि न्यूट्रिशन ह्याच्यावर चर्चा करणे म्हणजे प्रत्येक कुठल्याही तुमच्या थेरपीला एक खूप चांगला सपोर्ट देणं असं मला वाटतं.
बरोबर आहे. आणि डेफिनेटली whenever we are talking about diet, it is now in changing lifestyles. I think it has become a most important point if you want to maintain your health. If you, in general, if you want to maintain your good health, in for bones especially, we are talking about few particular nutrients which are essential in our diet, and definitely we'll go over those nutrients first, and then subsequently we'll go over the dietary habits, and then frequently patient ask me some questions, so we try to answer those questions also. And madam has a thorough expertise. She has a vast experience in treating various illnesses and giving them dietary advice also, and how you can keep yourself healthy also. So I think this is a very good platform where you can get a lot of information about how you should go about your diet in a day-to-day basis. So coming to our first point, the nutrients for our bones and spines. I think the most important, madam, anyone says the calcium, which is required for our body. So how you tell the patients about calcium intake?
Yeah, calcium is the first macronutrient which is highest required in my body. Almost प्रत्येक adultला 1 ग्रॅम calcium हा लागतो. The challenge of calcium is if you eat adequate protein, you get calcium. But at the same time, does my body absorb it is a big question mark. 40 पर्यंत जेव्हा आपला रिजनरेशन मसल बिल्डिंग चांगला असतो, कॅल्शियम बऱ्यापैकी ॲब्झॉर्ब होतो. बट ॲज वी एज आफ्टर 40, calcium absorption declines, and there are a lot of factors for it. So I think primarily getting educated on what is calcium, how much calcium, and which foods I should be highlighted for calcium is very integral, and then comes supplementation for calcium.
Yeah. So definitely whenever we are taking calcium, I think along with that vitamin D is always with the calcium, because vitamin D is must for the body to absorb more calcium and to deposit that calcium into the bones. So what do you suggest for vitamin D and calcium? What do you suggest to the patient what they should take in their diet and how much they should have?
Yeah. So if you have a protein rich food, if you have 15 to 20 grams of protein in every meal, protein invariably gives you adequate calcium, zinc, B complex. सो बऱ्यापैकी कॅल्शियम आपल्याला प्रोटीनमधनं मिळून जातं जर आपण आपल्या डाएटमध्ये प्रोटीन घातलं तर. व्हिटॅमिन डी हा फार डाएटमधनं मिळत नाही. पण जसं मी आत्ता म्हणाले, की कॅल्शियम ॲब्झॉर्प्शनला व्हिटॅमिन डी गरजेचं आहे. त्याच्याबरोबर व्हिटॅमिन K2 पण गरजेचं आहे आणि मॅग्नेशियम पण गरजेचं आहे. So if you're looking at an holistic approach of calcium absorption, we are looking at all these nutrients together along with your diet, supplementation if your body needs the increased requirement for calcium.
Yeah. So obviously, I think most of us know also that vitamin D is it is made by our body in our skin whenever we are getting the sun exposure. So that is a very one good source of getting the vitamin D. If we are sitting in a sun for some time, usually they recommend between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 10 to 15 minutes of sun exposure. And as we see, our most of the computer job people, they go in the morning at 6 7 o'clock. They go into their offices. They come out in the evening night, so they are all the time they are in the ACs and they are not getting exposed to the sun at all. So definitely they are more prone to develop the vitamin D deficiency. Now coming to the other nutrients, what else do you recommend for the bone health or spine health in general?
So nutrient based nutrition I think is the way forward. नरिशमेंट मोर दॅन डाएट आम्ही नरिशमेंट शब्दाला जास्त महत्त्व देतो अँड नरिशमेंट इज ऑल अबाउट माझ्या शरीरात गरज आहे ती सगळी न्यूट्रिएंट ॲब्झॉर्ब होतात का. टुडेज पॉइंट ऑफ डिस्कशन इज बोन अँड स्पाइन. मग ह्या दोन एरियात जर आपण म्हणलं तर बी कॉम्प्लेक्स व्हायटमिनचा खूप मोठा रोल आहे. स्पेशली थायमिन, फॉलिक ॲसिड ऑर फॉलेट अँड B12. कॅल्शियम D3, मॅग्नेशियम K2 हे पण आता चर्चा केलीच आहे की ह्याच्यावर पण आपल्याला जोर देणं गरजेचं आहे. Proteins are very integral part of your diet, not only for this area, but all overall health, where we say at least 1 gram, 0.8 gram per kg body weight of your protein is required. So this is the nutrient you should be highlighting, ensuring, and adequacy of this nutrient depends upon your overall absorption in your body. And that I think is the crux of balanced diet.
Yeah, I think it's been very well said by the madam that we always we are always concerned about this vitamin B12, B complex vitamins, vitamin D, calcium, proteins. I think these are the main crux which is required for the bones. When we talk about the spine is full of muscles, joints, there are a lot of nerves. This total, it's kind of a bony, it's a bony column which is there, and then inside that column is your spinal cord. So it is a mixture of all kinds of tissues, and for nourishment of those tissues, I think these all elements are very important. So they always ask me to what they should add. you know they think that one particular thing they eat and then immediately they'll get that kind of say calcium or vitamin D. So I think there are a little bit misconception that they just eat one part of the food and then they'll have that kind of nourishment. So what do you suggest to these patients?
So today in the world of don't eat like gluten, milk, and there's so many adages people come well informed. मी दूध पीत नाही कारण त्यात बऱ्यापैकी हार्मोन्स आहे. मी अमुक तमुक खात नाही. So when so many adages are there, I said you're missing on nutrition. तुम्हाला कळणं गरजेचं आहे की milk is the best source of calcium. Highly bioavailable source of calcium is present in milk. 2 वाटी दही रोज 300 ml of milk is suggested as per our recommended dietary allowances in our ICMR guideline. सो 300 मिलीलिटर दूध, आय एम टॉकिंग दिस फॉर ॲडल्ट्स, एक 20-25 वर्षाच्या वयाच्या नंतरच्या लोकांना. तुम्ही दूध प्या, तुम्ही दही खा किंवा नाचणीचं आंबील, द बेस्ट सोर्स. व्हॉट हॅपन्स इन नाचणी, रागी, विच इज द व्हेरी गुड सोर्स ऑफ कॅल्शियम, बट इट इज नॉट बायो अवेलेबल. You malt it, add buttermilk to it. I think that is the way your body can absorb calcium much, much better. So don't forget these important sources of calcium and incorporate in your diet, but quantify it. This is what I would like to highlight rather than minusing it.
Okay. Can you please tell quickly what is the calcium requirement for various age groups, especially how much they need calcium for their bodies in various age groups?
Current RDAs have now changed in 2024. This is the highest macronutrient which is needed by our body, as I said. Adults, let's start with adults. Adults needs 1 gram per day in a daily requirement of calcium. Children, especially the adolescent group, needs 800 milligram per day because they are in a growth phase. Pregnancy needs 1.5. Geriatrics also needs 1.5 gram per day. So look at the amount of quantity your body needs calcium on day-to-day basis. But that doesn't mean taking a calcium supplement without prescription is advised. First, food first policy. First, have it in the food, make it bioavailable, add proteins, work on calcium, then see if your body needs supplementation, because another part of calcium supplementation is high amount of calcium supplement can lead to calcification, kidney stones. So there are other side of it. So food is the best source of calcium. Let's make the food more bioavailable for us for better utilization.
We see a lot of old patients, and especially post-menopausal women who are invariably suffering from bone pains, osteoporosis, low calcium, and they always ask me whether they really need to take the calcium medicines or not. So what do you suggest, that how much they usually get through the food, and whether they really need those supplements all the time, or is it like in between they can take it and then they can still rely on the food?
It's a very good question, sir, and very apt. Calcium first in diet, as I said, natsani, ragi, I utilize it for more of these geriatric patients. But malting of, because phytate does not allow your calcium to be absorbed. Phytate is a fiber. So we say malt your grains. Malting म्हणजे सत्व करणं, नाचणीचं सत्व. भिजवणं, वाळवणं आणि रोस्ट करून त्याचं पावडर करणं सगळीकडे मिळतं आजकाल. आणि त्याला ताकात घालून अंबिल करणं. We have this नाचणी अंबिल as a porridge, or you can have it as a water in, and that you had 1 tablespoon of curd in it. So nachni can be incorporated on an everyday basis in your diet. Leafy vegetables, well cooked 2 to 3 times a week, also adds good amount of calcium. Many geriatric patients use nachni bhakri also. But more than bhakri, ambil or making bhakri out of sattva is more apt to it. Sattu is another good source of calcium. Sattu is more of your chana. Chana म्हणजे फुटाणे आपण जे आपल्या डे टू डे मध्ये करतो. सत्तूचा पण तुम्ही जर अंबिल केला किंवा त्यात पाणी घालून तुम्ही एक चिमूटभर मीठ जिरा पावडर घातलं, that also is a very good source of calcium. As I already said, 2 bowls of curd. So if you put this minimum in your diet, and then the vegetable shevga is rich in calcium, shepu is rich in calcium, all those grandma's recipes we already know. But very basic, it's natsni, dahi, pale bhaji on a regular basis can give you adequate calcium if you take it on a daily basis.
It's a very good information. Even I was not knowing all these things, that this can definitely fulfill their daily requirement of the calcium. I think it's a very good information. So another thing, we always talk about is fibers in the diet, because a lot of these patients, they suffer from constipation also, and it's a very common. Actually, a lot of women also in old age, especially when we give them calcium, they always tell us that they get constipated due to the calcium medicines and all that. So how we can treat this constipation in various age groups?
Sir, खरं बघावं तर Indian diet is plant-based diet. So we have lot of fiber in our diet. Fiber comes from plant. But surprisingly, vitamin D3 deficiency, fiber deficiency, or gut issues are very high in our population. I think the challenge is more than fiber. We are looking at gut motility, mobilization of the patient, hydration, drinking water, adequate water, and having food which is most of dry food. म्हणजे they are into culture of sandwiches and pori bhaji with this dabba culture. Earlier, we used to eat amti, tak, or there's a lot of fluid-based diet, and that is missing in our diet. So I think that adds on to your challenges with digestion because it makes your food hard to digest. I also accept your fiber question. 25 to 30 gram of fiber is needed. Again, the challenge is soluble, insoluble. आपला फायबरची परिभाषा आता सॅलडमध्ये झाली आहे. Salad is not an Indian food. Salad is a Western because they have a lot of non-veg in their diet. It makes sense to eat a bowl of salad, a non-veg, and a bread. So that doesn't takes care of calcium. माझ्या डाएटमध्ये वरण असतं, कोशिंबीर असते, भाजी असते, चपाती भाकरी असते, भात असतं, सगळ्यात फायबर असतं. So I don't need salad for my gut because salad actually creates lot of bloating and digestion issues. I need soft fiber. I need banana, excellent source of calcium, magnesium, soft fiber. Banana, we all know right from childhood, is helps you to ease your stool. Because is it stool formation or is it ease of passing stools? That's constipation we need to understand. So I always ask my patient, "हे तुम्ही तर जेवताय, your bowel is quite having good amount of roughage. So why are you not passing stool? Is this the problem with your gut motility or the hardness of stool? So most of the time it is the stool formation is there, but the passing of stool is not there. And that is why we look at it soft fiber in your diet and we look at food which is easy to cook. दोन वाटी भाजी खायला पाहिजे रोज. Bhaji might not be salad. It is koshimber bhaji. Then we also say you have good amount of 2 fruits in a day. Banana can be one of that fruit. And normal diet which will help you to have good fiber in your diet.
Very, very important. Another important topic, I think you already touched on that, that hydration in the, day-to-day activities. I always tell my patients, you should keep a good hydration. A lot of time they work for hours and then they forget to drink water or anything. So definitely hydration is very important in general for our, uh, bones or whatever you say, but disc condition, especially in our spine, the disc prolapse is most common condition. And what we call prolapse is because the hydration of the disc gets reduced and it become more dry. So whenever you get a loading on the dry disc, you start getting the back pain. So hydration has become a very important point in day-to-day activities. Madam, what is your recommendations in terms of hydration? Means how much fluid they should take into their bodies and what kind of fluids?
Technically 30 ml per kg present body weight. So you may be 100 kg, so it is 100 into 30. Then we say you can't drink so much of water. That's my personal experience. 1.5 liters water for consciously you can drink. Then where do I get the next water from? Then we say start putting beverages in your food. Make your meal more beveragey. That also contributes to water. If your meal has 1 or 2 glasses of hydration like pattar varan, tak, this malts what we are talking about, that adds good amount of water in your diet. Green tea is another medium of adding water. Buttermilk is another medium of adding water. So I think you start adding at least 1.5 liters through this food sources, which will hydrate you better with electrolytes, and that takes good care of your hydration at the same time. What is missing is water or fluids with your meal. You're more into dry eating, surmure, chuda, pohe, sandwiches. That doesn't give you a lot of hydration. But if you eat a meal along with some buttermilk or limbu pani, that gives. And moreover, tea, coffee, alcohol increase have again started dehydrating you in much better. So remember, 1 cup of coffee, 2 glass of water. One drink of alcohol, 4 glasses of water. So this balance, I think you start learning about it, how I need to compensate. But water 1.5, add more fluids in your meals. That makes more sense to your hydration.
Yeah, I think it's very important that we should have enough water intake, because that a lot of patients they suffer from kidney problems also, that avoids the kidney issues also. um, Coming to our next kind of common things which patient usually ask us about dietary habits, means timings of the diet, how many, whether they should have multiple meals in a day or they should focus on 2 meals in a day, and whether the morning meal should be heavy one or evening one. So I think we should give some clear ideas to our patients that what is the usual strategy, how to go about this, when they are formulating the diets.
I always feel, sir, nutrition is not one-liner. म्हणजे we can't say दोनदा जेवा, 4 वेळा जेवा. Needs to understand the science behind it. आपण सुरुवात करू, food gives me energy. मग माझ्या बॉडीला एनर्जी कधी लागते? इफ यू आर ग्रोइंग चाइल्ड, इफ यू आर प्रेग्नेंट, your body needs regular energy at regular intervals. So you should have breakfast at that particular age because your body needs energy. You can't miss out breakfast. If I'm getting up at 8:30, 9 o'clock, I'm having lunch at 12, 12:30, I don't need energy. I do nothing. So maybe if you are not using lot of energy, you can look at 2 meal pattern a day, because end of the day, it is intake throughout the day, the calorie intake throughout the day, which makes lot of sense. So if you feel माझा पोट भरायला पाहिजे, मी डाएट करू शकत नाही, मग दोनदाच जेवा. अर्ली डिनर, brunch and supper type. That helps for your daily requirement of energy. हा मग तुम्हाला ॲसिडिटी असेल किंवा जे काही असेल, we can talk and make it more personalized. But if your energy requirement is very regular, you're a very active person, you're into sports, athletes, you're a surgeon, you need to stand and you need to walk, policemen, teachers, then we said you divide your energy throughout the day rather than concentrating on one meal. Because if you eat too much food at one time, that gives you hyperglycemia, that makes you more fatigued. So it all depends upon your work nature to divide your meals how many times a day rather than following somebody else's advice without looking at what my body needs energy, how my body utilizes this is very, very important.
Yeah, I think it's very well said. So definitely, it's kind of an individual approach, and what actually from childhood, what you follow, that also matters a lot. How frequently you're eating. So what about the quantity of the food, mainly in the evening? They always say that no, evening meal should be less, or they should be light. So do you agree with this, or you have any other suggestion?
Sir, I have past 30 years of experience with this food and nutrition. Over 30 years, what I've observed, I'm sure you'll agree with me, food is connect, food is happiness, food is satisfaction, food is social, food is celebration. With all these adjectives we gave to food, if I mechanically tell you to eat less and you don't feel satisfied, you won't sleep well. If you don't sleep well, your day doesn't go well. So there's so many factors which revolve around your appetite and satiety when we speak about how much you should eat. Again, this is very personalized. Ideally, because you don't move more after your evening and after sunset, your gut motility slows down, your digestion slows down, your gastric enzymes are not very active. We say follow a plate system. Half plate vegetables. Of course, as I said, vegetable need not be salad. It can be koshimber, smoothie or whatever you have. 1/4 protein and 1/4 carb. म्हणजे एक पोळीला एक वाटी भाजी, एक वाटी कोशिंबीर, and that should give you good satiety. You can't have biryanis and pulaus and char pav with one vati bhaji. I think that type of meal should be avoided for dinner, but you can always have fiber and protein rich diet. So satiety is better and your sleep is better and you're nourished well.
Yeah. So, coming to the again one very common lifestyle issue, which is rampant in our society right now. In general, you will also agree that obesity. I think it has become a very major, um, you know, you can call it as a disease now in our society, and it is definitely putting more load on the spine, causing a lot of back pain. So right from there, you get a lot of issues in your body when you have obesity. So in general, I think you must be seeing more and more patients of obesity, and I think every one another patient, I think they are knocking your doors that how they can get their weight reduced. So what is your general advice to this, how you categorize those particular people?
So well said. Dietitians are known to treat only obesity. So somewhere we have to start looking at we nourish you rather than we give you a diet. This is what I try to tell my patients. For me, obesity is thin fat Indian adage where we all commonly research think more of abdominal obesity, more of waistline. So my primary goal is make them understand weight loss is very gradual. With this newer world of obesity management where drug surgery therapies coming up, we look forward for supporting obesity management because whatever is there in obesity market is making you eat less. It is making you feel full early. It is avoiding food focus. So with all that, your calorie intake reduces and somewhere you try to eat less. But eat less is not an option. When you want to work, especially in your area when you're working with spine and bones, you want to work on abdominal obesity because the fat in your abdominal region doesn't allow your back to work well. So we say work on waist loss. Waist loss comes with carbohydrate management. Overeating of carbohydrates and not moving. Either you move more or eat less. Get convinced की मला जास्त हलायचंय किंवा कमी खायचंय. आता कमी खायचंय म्हणजे काय कमी खायचंय तर स्टार्चेस, कार्बोहायड्रेट्स. मेकिंग देम अंडरस्टँड की आता एरा आहे वरणात भात घालून खायचा. आता एरा आहे खिचडीची रेसिपी बदलायची. एका डाळीला अर्धी वाटी तांदूळ, एक वाटी भाजी. आता एरा 2 तांदूळ, 1 डाळीचा नाहीये. सो agriculture based, more physical activity. Prior generations had more carbs in their diet. They always ate poi sati bhaji. We counted our pois and bhats. Today we should count our bhajis and dals and koshambirs and chutneys, hirvi chutney and seed chutney. That's more important. So parents should change the way they ask. Kiti poi khalli nahi vicharal pahiजे. Vativar bhaji khalli ka. So if you reduce your carbohydrates, if you work on carbo, because with the changing modernization, we are invariably going to be more and more sedentary. And carbohydrate is the major challenge because carbs gives me energy, carbs and fats. That is why I think we focus more on quantitative approach towards your carbs. उपमा खायचा आहे तर कॉम्बिनेशन उपमा बरोबर दही खा. पहिले दही खा मग उपमा खा. So invariably satiety and all helps you to eat less. Again, it's a question of habit forming, changes the way you look at food, parenting, so many things add up to it. But carbohydrates are the main crux to work on your visceral obesity.
Yeah. One very common, you know, rather than question, is just common statement made by the patients. I just tell them that, at least you try to reduce your weight to some extent. So they say, आपण मी तर काहीच खात नाही डॉक्टर, मी हार्डली एक चपाती खाते, पण आय थिंक दिस इज मोर लाईक अ जेनेटिक, माझ्या आईकडनं किंवा वडिलांकडनंच मला हे भेटलेलं आहे. सो we also don't know what to talk to them exactly, की ठीक आहे बाबा, इफ द विषय तिथे संपवायचा झाला तर तो संपून पण जाईल, की ठीक आहे बाबा, जेनेटिकली आहे तर आहे, आता काय करायचं. पण स्टील आय थिंक देअर हॅज टू बी सम सोल्युशन. सो व्हॉट डू यू से टू दिस पेशंट्स?
Sir, I do genomics also. सध्या न्यूट्रिजिनॉमिक्स एक टूल आलेला आहे. अँड आय हॅव लर्न्ड इन द जिनॉमिक्स की 10% जीन असतं, 90% एन्व्हायरमेंट असतं. आम्ही याला जीन डायट इंटरॅक्शन म्हणतो. ऑफकोर्स ओबेसिटी मे बी इन युअर फॅमिली अँड यू कॅरिंग इट फॉरवर्ड टू द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन टू. पण हे 10% आहे. म्हणजे तुम्ही 55ला नाही जाऊ शकणार, पण 65ला तर जाऊ शकणार ना नक्की. सो don't look at genes and blame your genes for obesity. You may not reach the ideal body weight, but you'll be at least somewhere near ideal body weight if you have a obesity gene. Coming to your question, की तुम्ही कसं हँडल करायचं, तुम्ही न्यूट्रिशनिस्टकडे पाठवा. कारण what we do, I'll help you understand की आम्ही काय करतो. We take a diet recall. For example, if you tell me this is my diet recall, आम्ही विचारतो सकाळ, दुपार, संध्याकाळ काय काय खाता. एक तुमची दिनचर्या आणि देन क्वांटिफाय इट. वी अंडरस्टँड युअर ॲपिटाईट अँड सटायटी. पावभाजी खाल्लं तर किती पाव खाल्ल्यावर पोट भरेल, इडली खाल्ली तर किती. So we standardize your appetite, we understand your calorie intake. We try to explain it to them, look, you are eating so many calories. याच्यात एवढा प्रोटीन आहे. एवढा अंडरस्टँडिंग आहे कोणी करून दिला तर यू अंडरस्टँड वाय यू आर गेनिंग वेट. आय अंडरस्टँड टुडे इन क्लीन इटिंग एरा अँड सो मच अवेअर एव्हरीबडी नोज की आय एम इटिंग बेस्ट. मी सकाळी ओट्सच खातो, दुपारी भाकरीच खातो, संध्याकाळी फ्रूटच खातो. पण किती खातो आणि मला माझी गरज किती आहे, मेटाबॉलिझम किती आहे, ह्याचा जर आपण हिसाब किताब त्यांना सांगून दिलं, की हे बघा तुमची गरज एवढी, तुम्ही एवढं खाताय. अँड देन ट्राय टू मॅन्युप्युलेट दॅट डायर. हा मायनस करू शकता का? हा ॲड करू शकता का? सो इट बिकम्स इझियर अँड व्हेरी ग्रॅज्युअली वी टेक देम इनटू अ कॅलरी डेफिशियन्सी बाय मेकिंग देम एज्युकेटेड अबाउट व्हॉट दे आर ईटिंग. It helps that way because we help them to understand their food and work towards them.
Yeah. Another important topic, I think, we always talk about the inflammation in the body. Most of these people, even if we check the blood also, we come to know in the markers that there is a ongoing inflammation in the body. Especially, we are having a lot of viral infection in today's world, and post-viral developing myalgia, I mean muscle pains, bone pains, joint pains. I think it has become very common. So there is always some part of that inflammation which is going on in the body, and it is always causing the uneasiness or discomfort to the patients. And there are particular anti-inflammatory foods which can help us. So what do you suggest about this?
Sure. Inflammation is a new buzzword like protein inflammation. I think this inflammation is because of the environmental stress. Constant stress is there in the body. It can be poor sleep, it can be menopause or hormonal stress, it can be bad eating, so much of processed food you're taking it throughout the day. My day starts with chaha biscuit and ends with packed foods or ordering from outside. That all gives me a lot of free radicals or trans fats in my diet. Poor gut flora. I've been constantly having medications, painkillers, antacids, and so on. Poor gut flora, poor hydration. So, looking at all the environmental impact, the inflammation is trigger to all that. So, coming to what should I do? First, work on the environment rather than directly taking omega 3 or anti inflammatory. See where all you can work. Can I sleep well? Can I add vegetables in my diet? Can I start eating clean at least 5 days a week? So work on the environment to work towards inflammation support. And then coming to the diet, what are anti-inflammatory foods? Anti-inflammatory foods are foods which gives you colors. So 800 grams of vegetables per day is not my recommendation. It is an RDA, recommended dietary allowance. Two fruits every day. That gives you a good inflammation, especially high ORAC foods, your citrus, your berries. Aura is a very easy source of anti-inflammation. Your B complex, all the nutrients, take multivitamin every day. Flaxseed oil, 1 teaspoon every day gives you a good anti-inflammatory support. Then we jump to your supplementation. High protein diet also gives you a lot of inflammation. So mind it, don't overeat proteins. That also gives you inflammation. So more than what to eat, cut down the inflammatory triggers and then start working on your diet, which helps you to work on inflammation.
As a spine specialist, I regularly treat a lot of neurological conditions. Patient complain a lot of tingling, numbness, heaviness. They get nerve pinching. So it's very common to have nerve issues. And as we talked about that, B12 vitamin is very important, because it is usually important for the coverings of the nerves, because if you have a intact coverings of the nerves, then the conduction of the signals is smooth. So obviously vitamin B12 has a very major role to play in various neurological conditions. And how you suggest patients to have vitamin B12 or some other B complex vitamins, and what they should eat in their diet.
Okay. So we find mass deficiency of vitamin B12. And it's a question mark because vitamin B12 ची गरज फक्त 2.2 मायक्रोग्रॅम फॉर एव्हरी अडल्ट आहे. बट वाय डेफिशियन्सी? बिकॉज 2 वाटी दही खाल्लं तरी माझं व्हायटमिन B12 मिळतं. बिकॉज वी नो ॲनिमल फूड गिव्स व्हायटमिन B12. प्लांट फूड्स डू नॉट गिव्ह व्हायटमिन B12. पण इतकी सुंदर सोय देवानी करून ठेवली आहे की माझा गट फ्लोरा पण B12 बनवतो. माय बॉडी मेक्स B12 and requirement is very less. Still, I'm deficit in B12. So step 1 is first correct your gut flora. तुमच्या पोटात काही तुमचं तणाव असेल जसं ॲसिडिटी, कॉन्स्टिपेशन, ब्लोटिंग असेल तर म्हणजे तुमचा गट फ्लोरा रिसेट करायची गरज आहे. सो प्रोबायोटिक हा माझा पहिला थेरपी असतो B12 डेफिशियन्सी करेक्ट करायला. पण याचा अर्थ हे नाही की पॅरलली वी डोंट वर्क टुवर्ड्स B12. वी गिव्ह यू B12 सप्लिमेंट्स ॲट द सेम टाइम. वॉटर सॉल्युबल व्हायटमिन असल्यामुळे त्याचा डोस 1500-2000 असा होऊ शकतो. But for me, if you ask me what should a B12 supplement should look like, it should come in a combination of folate, pyridoxine, and B12. So that the neurological health which you're looking at is always benefited with the combination of these three nutrients because आमच्या भाषेत त्याला technically तुम्ही पण समजू शकता methylation मध्ये काम करतं. So B12 comes in the format of B12, B6, B9, methylated form असेल तर जास्त चांगलं. Coming to your second question, food is it a source of B12? You find non-veg getting into B12 deficit. You get vegetarians into B12 deficit. So there is nothing new कि काय B12 ला कमी असते. So the question mark is if you have 2 bowls of curd for vegetarians, take care. Egg, 1 every day, non-vegetarians can help B12 with. And rest, as per comfort, Indians are not very avid non-veg eaters throughout the every day, but 1 to 2 times a week also should take care. Then you may have good absorption of B12. Still B12 deficit, take B12 supplement. And multivitamin 1 every day if your body is unable to process micronutrients. It will not come immediately in your teenage or in your adults. And I always say if you're eating mess food or outside food, take a multivitamin on a regular basis. घरचं जेवत असाल, पौष्टिक आहार खात असाल, तर मग multivitamin can take a backseat, but you need multivitamin on a regular basis.
Yeah. So another important aspect which has recently come up, the apart from calcium, there's another mineral which has come up is a magnesium, and it is gaining more and more importance. A lot of patients they are keep asking us की magnesium deficiency आहे का, ती चेक करायला पाहिजे का, आणि what are the sources to get that magnesium. So how do you go about it?
सर खरं सांगायचं म्हणजे मॅग्नेशियम इज अ प्रोडक्ट ऑफ वेअर 300 रिॲक्शन्स इन अ बॉडी आर फॅसिलिटेड बाय इट. आधी तर नव्हतं, आत्ताच का? मे बी दिस मॅग्नेशियम इज ड्रायव्हिंग मी टू अंडरस्टँड एनर्जी मॅनेजमेंट. If you're feeling tired, fatigue, which each one of us has, bone health, nerve health, magnesium is a part of a facilitator. But remember, sir, हे अल्ट्रा ट्रेस एलिमेंट आहे. हा कॅल्शियम सारखा 1 ग्रॅम लागणारा न्यूट्रिएंट नाहीये. 300 मिलीग्रॅम हा आपला सप्लिमेंटेशन डायटरी डोस अलाउड असतो. It helps your gut, it helps your sleep, it helps your muscles. So, n number of areas you find this magnesium benefit. But I request to the audience that do not take OTC magnesium supplementation because सगळे nutrients work like a orchestra. मॅग्नेशियम वाढलं की झिंक कमी पडायला लागतं. आयर्न, कॅल्शियम एका जोडीने काम करतात. So somewhere you cannot take one nutrient and highlight and take it as a supplement. They need to be synced. First, understand if you're deficit or you need more because blood cannot tell you magnesium deficiency. Calcium also blood cannot tell you. So it is your symptoms which help us to understand, do you need magnesium? So we being very cautious in giving you magnesium supplements. We start looking at your energy, your fatigue, your sleep. So your energy driving is something which makes us give you magnesium supplements. So I think magnesium comes in combination of calcium too, or magnesium come in the dose of 300 milligrams in the form of glycinate, threonate, and it all depends what area of health you're looking for in magnesium. But don't take it for a long period of time. It's an ultra trace element. Let's go slow. Let's understand my body needs a supplementation or my food like banana, very good source of magnesium. Leafy vegetables, another excellent source of magnesium. Again, I would say eat balanced diet. Your body will get everything what it wants.
Yeah. So definitely, you cannot go after one particular nutrient. I think these all are nutrients. Work in a synchronization, and you definitely need all the nutrient in some whatever the quantities they are required by the body. So just uh, you know taking out a single element, it's not going to help our body. So obviously, a lot of patients, they ask me whether they should check the blood calcium level. I think madam has already come up with that point. So I would definitely clear that doubt. Blood calcium level is always maintained, because it is required by all vital organs, by it's especially our heart and the liver, kidneys, brain. They need that calcium, and it is important for the body to maintain that particular calcium level in the blood. So whenever we are getting deficiency in the calcium, obviously that calcium is getting absorbed from the bone into the blood, and so that the blood level of the calcium is always maintained. So to detect the deficiency of the calcium, we never check the blood calcium level. We always try to check the vitamin D levels in the body, because that is the particular vitamin which is important for absorbing the calcium which we are taking on a daily basis, so that calcium whether getting into the body or not. So checking vitamin D makes more sense rather than checking the blood calcium level, especially if we are concerned about the calcium levels of the body. I think that is a very important point to tell the patients. Another now, again, we are going to talk about the drug induced nutrient deficiencies. A lot of patients, they are on steroids or they are taking, antacids. I think invariably that also causes the deficiency of the nutrients. So, what is your suggestion? What is your message to the people?
Excellent point, sir. This is the need for more of awareness to be created. I see a lot of people taking first highlight, which I would like to is antacids. Every now and then they pop in antacid. Many people get addicted to it. They don't have acidity, but they feel they will get acidity. Anticipating you get acidity, they take an antacid tablet. So what does it do? It creates an environment in your stomach where acidity is reduced. And we know that stomach needs acid for better absorption of calcium, magnesium, all the micronutrients. You need acid environment for it. So if you take antacid, your body cannot absorb calcium from the food, and supplement also can go a waste, creating again a deficit. So antacid and micronutrient absorption very closely related. Take it only when your doctor prescribes it or when you really need it. Second, I think steroids, somewhere calcium deficiency goes very high. Clinicians tell us that you have to take care that gets adequate micronutrients in the diet, which we agree, and we support it through the food and support with supplementation if we not. But another area with that is your weight gain. So when we start looking at a progressive weight gain, especially post-operative patient of whatever you're treating them with, inactivity, emotional eating, so weight gain becomes a very challenge, and the weight you gain is fat. There you need to understand that, okay, this drug may give you weight gain or insulin resistance. I need to work with calorie control. Doctor may advise you or not. Get your understanding of nutrition. If you're taking any of these kind of drugs, it will create a lot of support to your existing treatment of illness, and definitely pathway of illness is always a wellness. So nutrition nourishment is byproduct of wellness. So antacids or your steroids, or I could say painkillers, all that create lot of micronutrient deficiencies in you. And understand the area behind the scene, that how it is spoiling the internal gut flora, to take it only if you need it as prescribed.
Yeah. Another important aspect now is, foods to avoid. In today's era, I think everybody's, you can agree with me that Zomato, Swiggy, they come to our house. I think nobody's now, you know, uh, because they are everywhere, and we are eating a lot of processed food. And what is your take on this?
True, sir. Today, the whole food is revolved around clean eating and mindful eating or intuitive eating. Nutrition is outdone with the subject because we all know everything. The person who's ordering food also knows that that's not the right thing, but he gives up for his emotional eating. So, clean, mindful, intuitive words have come in the existence. And why not we start looking at, can I follow 5 is to 2? Clean eating process. 2 days you eat whatever you want to order, because what happens is if you eat a lot of processed food, you increase salt intake. Salt intake invariably makes you deficit in calcium, magnesium, because it interferes with those absorption. Aerated beverages is another havoc which creates against your micronutrients absorption. A lot of phosphorus, and every time you drink a aerated beverage with your food, sodas, it doesn't allow you to absorb the calcium there. So that's another area we want to highlight. Three, there has no fiber. It has all the food which is processed. So maida comes in, your preservatives comes in, your food which is stale, that is not the fresh food comes in. So there's a lot of allergy, histamine generation also in your body. So this is the challenge where your cells inside your body are struggling to cope up to handle all these food items which your body is not comfortable with. And that is why I think the clean eating concept is very important to work on. So what not to avoid, or to your specific questions, one is outside food. वरण भात घरी करून खा पण घरी खा, because that creates a good gut. भात खाल्लं की वजन वाढण्यापेक्षा बाहेरून खाल्लं की वजन वाढतं. This is what you have to start looking at. So start looking at clean eating in the prospects of, I will not eat anything ordered outside for 5 days a week. Two, beverages which are aerated will not be there in my diet. Three, lot of preservative packed food which has lot of sodium and other preservatives which will hamper my micronutrients needs to be avoided as much as possible. So I think this is the way we start looking at clean eating concept and make it more mindful for a better health.
Yeah, and very well we can coming down to this addictions also, because smoking and alcohol has become very rampant. It's kind of a acceptable social norms now. But all said and done, I think the bottom level is that both smoking and alcohol is never good for the health. With whatever amount you take it, I think it is always bad for our health. And what is your take on this, or what do you tell the patients when they are because smoking has become very common in the ladies also, and ladies has to go through a lot of hormonal changes, pregnancy, and it definitely affects more to their body than the male gender. So what do you say to these patients?
It's like a patient asking me, "Madam, मी घेतलं तर चालेल ना 2-3दा ड्रिंक आठवड्यातून, किंवा मी स्मोक केलं तर चालेल का?" So I ask the patient, "What is expected out of me? What do you want me to tell you?" So end of the day, we all know, not recommended at all. Absolutely. WHO ने तर सांगितलंच आहे, की हे नाहीच चांगलं. Rather आपण 1 ड्रिंक, 2 ड्रिंक म्हणतो, because in an Indian scenario, that doesn't work at all. Because what happens, as I said, that if you take alcohol, smoking, body's inflammation triggers goes very high. Fat increases and lot of oxidative stress starts getting in your system. ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टीला आपल्याला खूप जास्त अँटीऑक्सिडंट्स लागतात. अँटीऑक्सिडंट्स कम फ्रॉम कलर्स इन युअर डाएट. सो मे बी येलो, ग्रीन, रेड, जे काही भाज्या, फळं, डाळिंब, बीटरूट. सो यू इमॅजिन दोज कलर्स. That should be incorporated in your diet. And ask yourself how many katoris of vegetable and fruits you eat in a day. सर मी तुम्हालाच विचारेन की तुम्ही दिवसातनं किती भाज्या आणि फळं खाते? 'Cause
Yeah, I mean, definitely it's very difficult to answer this, but definitely I think in general our intake of the vegetables is very less. uh, फार लहानपणापासनं वी ऑलवेज ॲज यू सेड वी काउंट ऑन दिस किती चपात्या खाल्ल्या, किती राईस खाल्ला. मग in that case scenario also we considered ki chapati is a protein source and the rice is a total carb, but I think both the things are carbohydrates only. So uh, protein intake is definitely less in our diet, and vegetables also we eat very less, so that should change with the time. I totally agree with you. uh, Coming down to this again, uh, as I said that when we talk about smoking and alcohol, at the same time, just madam has also said that aerated drinks. So soft drinks or soda drinks also they are not good for the health. Sometimes occasionally you're taking that is okay, but they are also never been recommended, or they are not just because you're not taking alcohol and you're drinking a lot of fruit juices or aerated drinks. I think that's also not so good. A lot of patients they prefer fruit juices over the fruits. And what do you suggest to them?
या डेफिनेटली एक संत्र खाणं आणि संत्र्याचं ज्यूस पिणं. एक संत्र बिकॉज फ्रूट गिव्ह मी शुगर. दॅट शुगर इज कॉल्ड फ्रक्टोज, सुक्रोज. सो इट ऑल्सो हॅज ग्लुकोज इन इट. असं नाही की त्यात फक्त फ्रक्टोज आहे. एका संत्र्यावर मी फायबर खाईन, एक संत्र खाल्ल्यावर माझं पोट भरेल. पण ज्यूस पिले की माझं पोट भरणार नाही. आय मे एंड अप हॅव्हिंग 3 संत्रास विथ इट. सो what I've identified is a juice gives me more sugar and less fiber. And I always feel let's look food from their cutlery. Always welcome drink is for juices, not a beer jar or a bigger glass, because the standardized cutlery tells us how much you should be eating. So 120 ml of juice for fair enough, not more than that. If you have a patient, people give you juices and all that, and that spikes up you because you're not moving at all. In fact, you should eat fruit. That's more important. So definitely, if you have a added sugar juice, like you have a lot of HCF is added sugar, which is cornstarch fructose added sugar. Added sugar is something which definitely spikes up your fructose in your food, and that gives you fatty liver. That's another area which we are all struggling, the muffled area, the fatty liver area. So definitely, sir, when you're looking at alcohol, fruit juices, they all give you empty calories, maybe higher sugar. But if you know the quantitative approach to it, maybe occasionally you can indulge in it. What you need more when you have alcohol or smoking is vitamin C. And vitamin C, I think only your fruits are a good source of vitamin C. Again, the fruits cannot be converted into juices at a large expense because we all feel fruit is healthy. People try fruit is healthy, they can eat half a watermelon or 2-3 mangoes at a time. So we try to tell them the healthy असलं तरी त्यात साखर असते. You need to understand किती खायला पाहिजे. भाज्या पण हेल्दी आहेत. That means 800 ग्रॅम सॅलड नाही भाज्या. So I think more finer training and understanding and educating, you're doing a very good job, sir. की या माध्यमातनं आम्हाला लोकांपर्यंत पोहोचता येतं, समजवता येतं, सांगता येतं. कारण न्यूट्रिशन, डाएट हे इतकं आजकाल काय म्हणतात ह्या रीलच्या जमान्यात लोकांपर्यंत चुकीची इन्फॉर्मेशन पण तेवढीच पोहोचते जेवढी चांगली पोहोचायला पाहिजे. So these platforms help me to connect through you to tell them what exactly is nutrition. It's a science. Understand, learn, and then promote it and adapt it.
Yeah, because all said and done, I think again this has to be customized. It totally depends on your body weight. Again, they do this body mass index. They calculate your protein, how much is the protein levels in your body. Uh, Again, your activity level, how much you are moving around, what kind of exercises you are doing. So all this definitely affects, and you cannot just isolate the one thing at a time. Okay, I'll just focus on the diet. Okay, I'll just focus on the exercise. This is has to be all the things together. And so whenever it's a very I'm really glad that you came today, because a lot of things even I was not knowing, because I know it's forget about the patients. I think they're definitely going to get benefit, but even a lot of things I also don't know, what to tell the patients. And I think it's very important that they should consult a nutritionist. And uh, just we are going to summarize the whole episode right now. So coming to the definitely the nutrients which are required for our bones, spine, nerves. I think we talked about calcium, vitamin D, vitamin B complex, B12, proteins. Then we talk about the anti-inflammatory foods. We also talk about which food to be avoided. Hydration, another important component. Good hydration is always very important. Now, madam talked about the clean diet. Then there is a something called as nourishment, because we don't talk about this word nourishment. Even I don't talk about this nourishment. We just talk about particular nutrient, and then we tell the patient, okay, you take this particular supplements, or you take this particular things you eat, and then you'll get that nutrient. I think it's not like that. All things are depend on each other, so it has to be a balanced complete diet. So what is your take on whenever any individual, not necessarily a patient or any person, if they ask you what is the balanced diet, what is your quick answer to this particular question?
Yeah, a balanced diet is a diet which my mother and grandmother always taught me eating combination meals. In an Indian culture, we always combined food and eat. We ate moong dal khichdi, which is a national dish. It's a combination meal. Idli with sambar always, thalapit with curd, varan with bhat. So this is the combination meal. The combination meal helps me to have the best of nutrition, best of bioavailable nutrients for my body. So balanced diet is all about following your culture, and training, getting learned about the quantitative approach is what the modern science tries to tell you. But the diet remains the same. The quantity may change, and it's very, very personalized area. We are in an era of personalized precision medicine, so is nutrition.
Yeah. And what about the protein shake? Because a lot of people now, they are nowadays, they are taking started taking protein shakes. So it is advisable, or you know means, what do you say, that they should be in your diet, or they can avoid, and they can include few things in your food, and then they can avoid the shakes also?
First, count your protein intake in your diet. If you're eating well, no need to look at shakes. It's all about how much protein you're eating. वरण भात मध्ये पण प्रोटीन असतं. So it is not needed that you need to eat eggs and milk and all that. But then count your good quality protein. 50% तरी तुमच्या प्रोटीन मधला good quality पाहिजे. Now if a vegetarian person is doing weight training, is doing muscle building, sarcopenic, areas where your body needs to push muscle, athlete. So when the protein requirement of the body goes up, body needs more anabolic changes, then we try to fill in the gap with protein supplement depending upon your requirement. So if your requirement is coming to 40 gram, you're only eating 40, you need 60. So I think that time we support that with 20 grams. Very slowly, we gradually step it up. They are not harmful if taken in a right dosages, because your body needs protein. If your food can't give you, we need supplements. So it's food first and then support it if your body requires. But we can't ignore it if your body doesn't get it through the food.
So, yeah, we try to cover all the aspect for a general population, and for patients who are having common back pains or muscle spasms. There are particular set of patients, especially in my practice, like we call this as a post-operative period. I operated any spine patient, and then we have to suggest some particular diet instructions to this particular patient group for at least initial few months or maybe few weeks, that what they should avoid, what they should take it. In general, from my side, which I advise is that they should have enough fluids in their diet. They can have uh, water intake, and along with that, I always tell them about the vegetable. They can make this फार कॉमनली आपल्या घरामध्ये मेथीचं पाणी, किंवा पालकाचं पाणी, सूप वगैरे ह्या गोष्टी आपण बनवतो. सो दॅट कॅन बी इन्क्लुडेड. Another thing, that initial few weeks we should be focused more on the fiber diet, that constipation should not happen, because the mobility of the patient is very much slow. So in such situations, we should focus more on the try to avoid the constipation, because constipation directly causes the load on the disc, on the spine, and they can cause you more back pain in earlier recovery period. So constipation should not happen. Proteins, definitely we can go on increasing the proteins in their diet. Maybe after a few weeks of the surgery, I think we suggest to increase the proteins in their diet from various sources. Um, any particular, from your side, suggestion to the post-operative patient, not like spine or any other surgery operated patients, how do you go about it in your practice?
We say make the food easily digestible. Don't eat food which is difficult to digest. So protein is difficult to digest, to go slow. Sattvic ahar in easy language we can say make food more beveragey. Add more fluids through beverages in the diet. And try to add, as rightly said by you, fiber first approach. पहिले कोशिंबीर खा, मग तुम्ही दही खा, मग तुम्ही जेवायला घ्या. पहिले सकाळी तुम्ही आंबील प्या, मग तुम्ही उपमा पोहे खा. So we try to put that sequence of eating so appetite is also taken care of, satisfaction is also taken care of, and very small meals we try to put in, and quantitatively we try to tell them calorie control because you should not gain weight also in this journey of post-operative phase. Your goal is muscle building through the physiotherapy or whatever activity is supported by them, and going slow with the gut health. These are the advices which we also try to work. And last but not the least, the micronutrient support. If any clinician has forgotten to add it, we try to get back to the clinician, ask the patient to go back, especially vitamin D3 and multivitamins, so that it aids in their overall well-being and the recovery.
Yeah. And finally, over the counter, various medicines, supplements, which obviously we always suggest to the patients. Then they can take calcium supplements, they can take multivitamins or a B12 or vitamin D shots. Uh, so these things they can include. There is another common thing which patient ask me: fish oil extracts. So, what is? Do you recommend? Do you think that fish oil is very important in the diet, or they should have that particular supplement regularly in their diet?
We already spoke about anti-inflammatory foods, and fish oil is a part of omega-3 in your diet. My body makes omega-3. Again, I would like to highlight. Fish oil can support and supplement. Dietary cannot go more than 3 ml per day. So 1 or 2 capsule per day doesn't do any harm to you. So people keep taking it thinking it's an anti-inflammatory approach. Not harmful, so you can always take it. But end of the day, let's remember every supplement goes to the liver, gets it detoxified, and gets utilized. So overdose because dietary supplements have not found any toxicity till now. Whatever you take, body is not really complaining, or you don't even know whether you're benefited out of it. It is just you're taking it without prescription also you get it. So remember every supplement needs a process of phase 1, phase 2 detox through the liver. Let the liver not work hard to detox all your supplements what you're doing. Take it only if you need it, and maybe your nutritionist, your medical management, your doctors can help you identify the supplements which your body needs, because these supplements though not toxicity proved but should not be taken because again your body has to process it. So my advice is take it only when your body needs it, but identifying the need should be done by your doctor or a dietitian.
Yeah, I think very well said by the madam. Anything excess is always a poison. So, you cannot go on taking any supplement for many months or years. It is never advisable. So, definitely we suggest that they can take the supplements for few months or weeks, and then they should give a gap to that particular supplement. Or always we can check through the blood whether you really need those kind of supplements or not. So in general, blanket just taking supplements and they are good for your health. It's not like that. Even vitamin D, vitamin B12, they have a higher toxicity level which has been established. So a lot of time people, is the recommended is a 900 mcg, and the people come to know and they got a vitamin B12 level like 2000, 3000. So, anything excess again causes inflammation in the body, and they are not helpful for your body. So blanket taking any supplements is never advisable, and there should be always gap whenever you're taking any supplements. I think we are going to summarize the whole thing right now. So just from your side, I think what do you want to talk to our audience overall about the diet, how they should go about their diet.
So thank you, sir. I think wonderful interacting with you in this topic of bone and spine. I think we've covered all the aspects of wellness also along with illness. So my only one liner to audience is uh, look at nutrition, look at nourishment, get educated, create awareness, and do not really get along what everybody is talking. Work on understanding your own personal requirements in consultation with an expert or by studying about your own health and then take the approach towards it. So, being more aware, not misinterpret or being led by the social media or the audience. This is what I would like to contribute to this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And again, just before closing it, I think I'll just highlight the points for you that every patient is unique. I think the customization is very important. Diet with exercise, that what makes you the exact, we can make the chart for you. I think it's very important to consult a nutritionist for that particular thing. Again, processed food should be avoided. Focus on one particular nutrient is not going to give you the benefit. So it should be a overall balanced diet, which we are suggesting. And addictions are always to be avoided, and they will never help your body. So whatever we are talking about, taking one particular diet over the other, I think don't get into those kind of, just reading some messages and, start doing following those things. I think that is not a good idea.